Hi friends, in Planet Earth dating, it's Tuesday, January 27th, 2015. We have Asha, Ra, and to some extent Pan here, and Glenn in this Body-Mind, Glenn the Commander, in the Jamie Body-Mind. As always, our work has the overarching intention of doing whatever is ours to do in all dimensions to trigger the awakening right now. It appears that our instructions for this videoed part of today's work are to go into the future, farther into the future than we already are. We've been working in the future for some time now, but to go farther, much farther into the future and do whatever it takes to establish contact with Charlie again. And with that, it begins. My perception is that we are in the time tunnels,
Yes.
the low ones, not the high ones.
Yes.
And that we're moving forward, and I see it's like an exit sign almost, but it's the right time. We're moving into the future, farther and farther into the future. There, right there is the right time.
That's true.
We're all here together.
Yes.
I see Ra is here. He's kind of at our back, you know,
Yes,
holding the
that's
back. Thank you. Thank you. Glenn here, Asha here. Pan isn't here right now. He stayed back. That's good.
That's
It's
true.
fine. It's fine. But now we're ready to go up. This is the right tunnel. We're standing right underneath it. We go up and who knows what it will be, right?
That's true.
Here we go. It's like being on a beach toward late afternoon when the
Yes.
sun is getting low and the sparkles on the water are so pretty, and
Yes, that's true.
I hear seabirds and
Rustling sounds.
I feel the wind, and I don't see any other human
No.
type beings. It's a very natural scenario, and I hear something and I look around and it's like a little twister of dust right there.
That is true.
Charlie? Charlie? Charlie, can you hear me? Charlie, if you can hear me, give me some kind of signal. My story is that twister of dust is coming closer.
That's my story too.
Charlie?
I don't hear anything, but it does seem to be coming closer.
Charlie?
And a little bit bigger. It feels like him.
Feels like him. Charlie. Wow, I miss you so much.
Still just looks like a little sand twister.
A sand twister. I'm going to take as my working theory that this is Charlie,
Yes.
because Ra is prodding me. If Ra wanted us to move on, he would get us to move on, but he's giving me the go.
That's
You know,
true.
like continue right here, motion. So I'll begin to speak. Charlie, we are good friends from a long time ago. We've traveled through time to find you. We have been brought to you. I'm Asha. I was a student of yours for many years.
That's true.
What's
Well-
happening with that sand twister?
It's getting longer and thinner.
Yes.
Longer and thinner. It's maybe almost at hip height.
Yes.
Thinner.
And this is Glenn, the commander of Starship 5 from the Red Planet, is how he was identified when you first knew him. And then just Glenn, the commander.
Hello, Charlie.
We love you.
We love you.
Love you so much.
It's good to see you.
It's really good to see you. It's interesting. Looking at him, I see like holographic images being projected onto this little this sand twister.
That's
Like
true.
I see flashes of him different ways he used to look.
That's true, I see that.
All these different faces he used to wear. The face when I knew him as Adonai, and the face when I knew him as Charlie the pilot, and the face
true.
when I knew him as Jesus the Christ, and all the other many, and Eagle, there's Eagle.
That's true.
And many of the faces with which I had been so familiar
Yes.
for so long.
I see them flashing across the sand.
Yes.
Yes, that's true.
And I've seen this 3 or 4 times now, something that looks like a beating heart.
Yes, I see that.
So Charlie, I'm going to hold out my hands, and if you want to take them to the extent you are able, that would be great, and if not, it's okay too. But it feels like there's sand
Yes,
whistling
I see
around my
that.
hands now.
That's true.
And again, Ra is giving me the go on motion with the hand. Charlie, we love you so much. As your student, I'm so grateful for all the teachings. And it's possible that there are things about the experience of your transformation that are
Yes.
confusing to you because you're missing information. It's possible that's why we've been sent, to just provide you information that you may not have as yet had access to.
He seems to be agreeing. He feels open to that.
Yeah, and I feel like there's pressure on my hands,
Yeah,
like
I
he's
see that.
saying, yes, go on. So, let me see where to begin. First, can you see? Are you aware that you seem to be a collection of sand and sparkles on the water?
Yes,
And
he
not-
seems to see that.
And are you aware that at one point in time you are a humanoid presence just as we are?
Yes.
Ooh. And do you have recollection of how that was, or what you did, or what your role was in the grand scheme of things?
Feels like a wobbly hand.
Right. So I'm going to begin, and I may need to back up and correct myself. I'm just going to get started because I can't get clear how it is I'm supposed to say this in my head. This happens in sessions. I practice and used to teach a system of angelically guided, multi-dimensional energy healing for soul purpose that was taught to me in large part by future beings.
That's true.
Beings perhaps from this time or perhaps from even farther in the future. I don't know. I'm not sure when we are right now.
That's true.
But in this healing art, I know this. We cannot sit quietly and expect things to get crystal clear in our heads.
Right,
It doesn't
no.
work that way. That's not how the system works. We have to take a chance, get going, get in action, and sometimes we have to back up and correct ourselves.
Yes, that's true.
And no one matters, no one cares, no one above us cares about the errors that we make as long as
Right.
we acknowledge them and correct them right away.
Right, that's true.
So I'm going to just jump in and get started, and I'll make some mistakes and I'll acknowledge them, back up, correct them, and we'll move forward. This is okay with you?
Yes,
He's
yes.
starting to look like
More
a,
like a person.
more like a person. So Charlie, you are someone with greatness inside of you. You are someone with a huge destiny. Can you feel that
Yes.
and know it to be true?
Yes, that feels like a yes.
And as such, you were tested many different ways. Tested.
That feels like a yes.
And you continued to be given greater and greater responsibilities.
Yes.
Meanwhile, somewhere else on the grand stage of events, there were people who did not want an awakening to occur,
Yes, he feels on board with that.
even though the master plan called for there to be an awakening.
He feels on board with that.
You were working for a long time to trigger the awakening, to do whatever it took to trigger the awakening, no matter what anyone else did or didn't do. Does this feel true?
Yes, that feels true to him.
And yet there were others who did not want this awakening to occur, right?
Yes.
That's okay. We knew that would be the case when we accepted the assignment, right?
Yes.
It's just part of the gig, right?
He seems to agree.
You were a teacher in what we now call the old school.
He feels kind of gross.
What's wrong? What's wrong, honey? What's wrong? The old school has a stigma now. It does. But
He
back
feels
then,
kind of angry. I don't understand.
are you angry at me, Charlie? Or are you angry at something?
He doesn't feel angry at you. He doesn't feel angry at me. What?
Is it possible you're already aware that you were misled by those who were above you?
Oh, that could be. That could be.
Is that where the anger is somehow involved?
There's definitely anger at feeling misled, at being misled.
Being misled.
He doesn't seem clear on who or where or what the misleading was. He just knows he was misled and he's very angry.
You were misled. It's true. It's true. Maybe this would help. Sometimes, my teacher is saying, what do I know? Well, one thing I know is that in the classes, when we're teaching subtle energy awareness, we begin by helping people relate to the subtle energy of the other humanoids around them.
Yes.
In their same dimension, whatever dimension we're teaching in.
He's nodding. He can follow this.
And then we reach a pivotal point where we shift the focus and have them move their focus up to higher dimensions.
Yes.
So would it be okay, maybe this is what I'm supposed to do, if we talk about how the misleading carried out in multiple dimensions? Would this be okay?
Yes, he feels okay with that.
For example, at the time that it appears that you begin to have troubles,
Yes.
you were not in a physical body. You were operating in the non-physical dimension as a teacher, reaching down to those in physical to help them live
He's
their soul
nodding.
plans. Does this feel true?
Yes, he's nodding.
And there
getting longer.
Yes, he is. And there were other teachers around you doing the same thing, themselves not in bodies, but reaching down to those who are in bodies to help the people in bodies live their soul plans.
Yes, he's nodding.
Do what they came to do, fulfill their destiny, step into their greatness, trigger the awakening, create lives of joy and worlds that work. Right?
He's tripping up over the word awakening, and I don't know why.
Ah.
It's like every time we say awakening, there's this weird, like twitch in the sand pillar.
There is.
Well.
Transformation? No, it's awakening.
It's
It is an awakening.
It is.
Charlie, in the old way, here's how we were taught to receive guidance. This is the way that you're familiar with.
He's nodding.
Meditate for a good long time. Open the heart.
He's nodding.
Open the crown. Be quiet and let the awareness percolate in.
He's nodding.
This is familiar to you?
Yes.
Yes. There was no discussion of how we drew in intuition, no discussion of the sources of intuition, no breaking down of the many facets of intuition.
Yeah, the sand twitches there. Yes.
In the new school, we've become aware that intuition comes to us through sensing mechanisms that we could think of like antenna.
Yes.
And wherever our antenna are pointed, that's what we are intuiting, whatever's there. We call these intuitive channels.
Yes, nodding.
So, how it has been throughout eternity is that our intuitive channels have all been pointed outward into the dimensions around us, the dimensions in which we're living and operating.
Yes, nodding.
Sensing what's going on around us. And input drops in from the crown when we meditate a really long time.
Okay, he feels good about that.
Now, when we're in bodies, this works painfully slowly, but it actually does work.
Yes, he agrees.
The troubles seem to begin when, in our own personal evolution, we reach the point at which incarnation becomes optional.
Yes, he's following.
And now our souls are, for the most part, out of the body, by and large, spending much more time out of a body than in a physical dimension.
Yes.
Right? And so now we're trying to help people who are in bodies. Right?
Yes.
So now our intuitive channels are not only going out to our co-workers, peers, friends around us, but they're going down to our students, trying to become aware of what's going on with our incarnates, our students, our children, so to speak, right?
Yes, nodding.
So as to help them more. Here's where things get dicey, because actually our own guidance comes from above, right?
He's nodding. He feels good about that.
So if our intuition is continually focused out and down, out and down, out and down, it makes it harder and harder for us to hear our own guidance.
Yes, yes.
We're not intuiting our own guidance.
Yes.
So the awakening, quote unquote, is simply a teaching that has as one of the keystone teachings the need to become aware of where these intuitive channels are pointed in any time, and to point them up for guidance.
Yes, he's nodding.
We say channels up. Get your channels up for guidance.
He's nodding.
And the more we learn to keep our channels up, the safer we are against confusions that come our way from the worlds around us, the worlds in which we operate.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yes.